On March 12th, we have something really cool. It's called a Saturn cazimi. This is when Sun and Saturn meet each other on the same degree. It's basically like a new moon for Saturn. Every planet has a synodic cycle. And when it comes to that point, right where it's about to be on the same degree as the sun, it gets burnt up. And then it metaphorically dies. It dies because we can't see it. Then it merges with the sun on the same degree. When it does, it's kind of like the power up. Mario eats the mushroom and gets enormous. That's a Kazimi for any planet. But Saturn Kazimi is going to be things that have to do with mastery and long lasting, things that make us over time greater, stronger, something that's a legacy. One of the best ways I found to work with Saturn Kazimi is to use it like a new moon, put some intentions into the world for a long-term goal. And then every time we get another Saturn Kazimi, come back to that goal and reassess. Have you been working on it, those little bitty steps? Here's what's challenging about getting to long-term mastery is a lot of people just make the goal and think the results are going to come right away. Saturn does not work like that whatsoever. It's the farthest away planet of the visibles. It was the edge of the known universe. It's way out there. It takes a long time to get there. It's slow, it's dark, and that's not going to be quick. This is not going to be quick. It's not the constant hustle. This is a kind of mastery that takes time. And the way to do that is to not expect it to happen overnight. And that's why a lot of people don't make the most of their Saturn experiences. Personally, I have a Saturn Mercury conjunction, so I think about Saturn stuff a lot. I really do. And I've struggled with a Saturn Mercury conjunction in a lot of ways, and I've had to work hard to get to those places where I feel more comfortable with my Mercury Saturn and the conversations that I have, the communications that I have. It's been difficult for me. But over time, I put little bit effort, 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. Keep moving towards the goal, the thing that I want, because I really want it. I've chosen something. That's what you do with the Saturn Kazimi. First thing you need to do is choose something. It can be writing that book or buying a house, a fitness goal. It could be learning a new language. Whatever it is, it has to be something that's really powerful for you, something you really, really want. The idea that goes along with this is the story of the cathedral in Cologne. In 1248, what's now Germany, the architects, the stonemasons, they had these plans to build a cathedral, a grand one, and they knew that it wasn't going to happen in their lifetime, not their kids' lifetime, their kids' lifetimes. This was not going to happen. In 1248, they knew it would take a long time to build it, but they did it anyway. They chose this cathedral, and they knew that over time, with effort, it was going to be built. And so it got pretty far. And then in about 1500, stuff started to slow down. Wars were going on, and then it just stopped. Then in 1800, somewhere in there, Napoleon came around and he saw it, and he's like, wow, this thing is incredible. It's meant to be finished. Let's get the blueprints back out and finish it. So those original blueprints, the plan from the beginning, was brought back into the process. And by 1880, they finished this cathedral, and it was the tallest building in the world for a little while. So the C is choose something that you really want to have happen over time that's going to last and be meaningful for you. After you've chosen your long-term goal, you need to build. You have to put the time into it. And B, you can remember that with this story of bamboo. Okay. So you might know bamboo is it's kind of crazy. Once you let bamboo grow, it gets all over the place, grows really fast. But there's this one kind of Chinese bamboo that is very counterintuitive. Okay. You put it in the ground and you water it, you take care of it, you baby this thing, and nothing happens, like for 5 years. It's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm trying to grow this bamboo and nothing. Then suddenly, after those 5 years, the thing sprouts. And within a few weeks, the bamboo shoots up 90 feet, 30 meters. It's a 9-story building within a few weeks. What's going on? All this time underground, it was building its root system and needed 5 years to build a strong enough root system to hold up 90-foot bamboo. Okay, so that's how Saturn works. Once you've chosen something, you need to build the foundation. How do you do that? Okay, let's go back to the book. If you want to write a book, you have to commit. I'm going to write 100 words a day. Make it a small commitment. But if you do 100 words every day, no big deal. It's not that hard. Every day it builds and builds and builds and builds. Or if you have a fitness goal, every time I go into my garage, we have some weights in there. every time I got to go in there because we have the refrigerator in there. I have to get food out for the family and stuff. I lift weights every time I go in there, and it builds over time. After you started building something, then you have to trust the process. This is the T part. So CBT, that's kind of the acronym I think of when I want to put my effort into some Saturn Kazimi goal. So the T is for time and trust. Trust the process. The way to remember this is thinking about the moon landing. So in 1961, JFK said, "We're going to the moon." And NASA was like, "What? We are not ready to go to the moon. We do not have any of this prepared. Nothing." And so there was a lot of failure. There was tests, there were successes, there were things they had to refine, and they kept going and kept going and kept going. And because they had this big dream set into the near future, whatever they wanted to do it by the end of the decade, is what he said. Bit by bit, they did the impossible. And by 1969, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. If they'd waited until everything was ready and in alignment, it would have never happened. So Saturn Kazimi is a time to reset, restart all these Saturn ideas. And my goal is going to be for a meditation practice over the next year. I am going to really focus on expanding myself, my spirituality. We have Saturn in Pisces for a little bit longer. So it's kind of nice to set this into the year when it's in Pisces, this Kazimi moment. And I'm going to do that incrementally over time, give myself a lot of grace and think about that bamboo. I'm building these root systems so that I could hold up something great over time. I'd love to hear what you want to put in your effort towards with the Saturn Kazimi. And then when it comes around again, recommit, resolidify. Anyway, I hope that was helpful and interesting for you. I hope you have a wonderful Saturn Kazimi. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.